Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming to watch. So we got guys an update on a significant uptick in the tropics, where we could have potentially a few named storms coming in the first few weeks of August. I've got all the details coming right up. So thank you for joining me here on this Monday evening. We have a lot to talk about in this video. We're going to be going over all the latest details on really what the models we've been latching onto as far as what we could be talking about over the next couple of weeks in the tropics, because again, the tropics have been pretty much dead all summer so far, but we are just now starting to see some life out there. So we're going to be starting out this video, as always though, just checking in on our conditions across the country. So as of right now, we're actually looking pretty good. We do have a few severe thunderstorms still working their way across portions of the Central Plains just east of the Rockies here. These will likely be severe, especially the more discrete cells back into portions of Colorado, Kansas, and down eventually into the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles. So if you are in these areas, especially those areas that were hit hard by storms last night, well, you got another round of storms coming tonight. So make sure you have multiple areas to receive warnings, because these have been tornadic, so they have been rotating. They've also been dropping very large hail. So make sure, once again, you are getting yourself indoors and away from windows if you do get put under a severe thunderstorm warning. We do have a few showers and storms rumbling their way through portions of the southeast and the Ohio Valley. These should stay sub-severe, really nothing too crazy going on out here, and then a few other thunderstorms popping up across portions of Montana and Idaho. But really, the rest of the country looks pretty great for the most part, so not much going on other than that. So we're going to be moving on here to the National Weather Service homepage for our alerts. And once again, as expected, you can see we have a pretty clear map, pretty good stuff to see considering where we are in the year. But you can see the Northeast is talking about those air quality alerts. We are talking about some significant wildfire smoke that has ventured down from Canada, spilling into the northern tier of the United States, especially the Great Lakes region. We've been talking about some pretty yellow and even orange skies. I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago, but I believe it was 2022, or it might have been 2023, where we did have that insane stretch. It was like a week in June where, I mean, the skies were literally dark orange across the Northeast. So thankfully it's not going to be on that level, but definitely some very unhealthy air quality levels out here. So make sure you are, again, limiting your time outdoors, just, within these next couple of days, just because, this is a pretty unhealthy air quality. So, I mean, really shouldn't worry a whole lot about it unless you have, you're at high risk of, heart problems and stuff like that. So make sure you're, staying safe out there and you're understanding your risks. But we also do have a severe thunderstorm watch going out for portions of central Montana. That's going to be for our storms that we talked about earlier in the update. So I may have mentioned that they will likely be sub-severe. I did say that because as of right now, it's looking like most of the storms are being a little bit more tame and weaker than initially expected, but a few severe storms cannot be ruled out. But then you got the severe thunderstorm watches going out for portions of western Nebraska, eastern Colorado, and the far Texas and Oklahoma panhandle. These are the storms that will most likely be severe and potentially tornadic over the next couple of hours, so please be sure to stay safe out there. We also do have an extreme heat warning going out for portions of southern Arizona and southern California, so please make sure that you're staying hydrated out there, because very, very hot conditions. I think we are seeing some areas get as high as 118 degrees. The Death Valley area was very, very hot just yesterday and especially today. So again, make sure you're staying hydrated and limiting your times outdoors if you are in that extreme heat warning. And then in the pink, across portions of Utah, southern Wyoming, and portions of northern Colorado, we do have our red flag warning. So very, very high fire danger threat. So please make sure that you are not messing with anything flammable, not burning anything outdoors, just so that we can limit the spread and kind of the growth of wildfires. So we're going to be moving on here to the National Hurricane Center forecast homepage. We haven't looked at this in quite a while. I mean, we have been visiting this page here and there this summer just because of the spotty areas of development. But we do have a very active looking map here. We'll start out with the main attraction. We have Tropical Storm Dexter which formed last night. I don't know if you guys watched, but we did do a live stream covering the moment that Dexter became a named storm. So Dexter is still pretty good ways off the East Coast, still at about 45 mile per hour tropical storm status. So the storm's at 1,002 millibars, so a very weak tropical system, but it's moving pretty slowly, moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. So this will likely be a fish storm, meaning that it will not be impacting any land. We'll get into the full forecast track in just a minute, but take a look at these other areas of development we have to watch out for. We do have this lemon here, this yellow 30% chance of development throughout the next 7 days, just off the coast of the southeast. So what the National Hurricane Center is saying is that a broad area of low pressure is forecast to develop in a day or two, several hundred miles off the coast of the southeastern United States. Some gradual development of this system is possible during the middle or later part of this week, as the system moves slowly westward or northwestward. Latest model guidance suggests that this will likely not become anything too serious, really just a tropical rainstorm struggling to, produce any sort of strong winds. So maybe some gusty winds, just kind of a washout for you folks in the southeast once that storm does officially make its way on land, but really anything too crazy other than that. And then finally, we do have our 50% chance of development here in our orange shade. It is a tropical wave that is coming off the coast of Africa, marked by this orange X here, but it is expected to move into the southern or central Atlantic, if you will, the main development region, and that's where we have our area of certainty, our area of interest. But what the National Hurricane Center is saying is that a tropical wave over the far eastern tropical Atlantic is currently producing minimal shower activity. Environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for gradual development during the next few days, and a tropical depression could form by the later portion of this week as the system moves generally west-northwestward across the central tropical Atlantic. So basically what they're saying is that a tropical depression, there's a pretty good chance we will see a tropical depression at least over the next week or so, but this system will be take its sweet time moving over the main development region and then eventually approaching land. And so that's going to be kind of the main focus of today's update, is just kind of what the models have been hinting at as far as what the future of this tropical wave may end up looking like. So we move on here to your current satellite loop. This is what Tropical Storm Dexter is currently looking like. Let me refresh that for you guys. Looks like we got new data coming in. You can see it is starting to become a little bit less organized. The storm is getting sheared off quite a bit, especially on the west side of the storm. So the storm is slowly moving into more unfavorable conditions, but it is still chugging, still producing some pretty good convection. Some pretty deep pockets of convection around that center of circulation, but the storm is becoming much less organized tonight. Now, is it going to dip below tropical storm status? I think it's possible, considering what we're seeing on satellite, but we are expecting this storm to maintain tropical storm status going here to your National Hurricane Center forecast cone. You can see that this is what the storm is looking like as far as its wind field as of today, but it's expected to continue to move through the North Atlantic as a tropical storm, staying south of Atlantic Canada, so Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, you guys will be fine, and then the storm will continue to drift off into the North Atlantic, still potentially at tropical storm status by the weekend, but really no impacts to land are expected with that. So we bring ourselves now to the satellite kind of overview here of the tropical Atlantic. And so I want to talk about this because our big focus here, our big topic of this video is going to be our tropical wave that you can see here currently coming off the coast of Africa. This is the tropical wave that prompted the National Hurricane Center to issue that 50% orange risk for development over the next several days here. So if I can get my pen to work, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. But this is what everyone's been watching, is this little area of thunderstorm development and convection just off the coast of Africa. You can see it's very unorganized now. but this storm is expected to continue to push off to the west here over the next couple of days, and it's going to be moving into some pretty favorable waters. Again, I mean, these waters are very, very warm. You have very, very high sea surface temperatures, but also, if you note, you can see most of the dry air is staying north of the system. A lot of this dry air is getting pulled north out of the way. So as the tropical wave continues to move farther and farther towards the Caribbean, it likely will be able to maintain some of that minimal strength. But really, what the time that we're most concerned about is if it does get past this little bit of Saharan dust. Look at what the Gulf of Mexico and the Southwest Atlantic and the Caribbean are looking like now. This is a explosive environment for a tropical system. Now, thankfully, we don't have any tropical systems or tropical waves out here that, pose a threat of development. But if a tropical wave like this were to develop in this kind of region at this point in this environment, it would be a ticking time bomb. I mean, you would have big problems. So that's why we really need to keep an eye on this storm as it potentially gets its hands on this very, very potent environment across the Southwest Atlantic, if you will. But we're going to be comparing the GFS and the European model just for kind of what the future track of this storm might look like, and then we'll be talking about what the ensemble runs show for your spaghetti models. So if we take a look at the 18Z run of the GFS, you can see this is your low pressure system here. This is that tropical wave. We're getting into the 8th, which is going to be about Friday, so this is a couple days out. You can see still about 1,014 millibar low, still a very, very weak system. But it's fighting off all that Saharan dust. The high pressure is keeping most of that dust off to the north there, and it finally does make its way into the Southwest Atlantic, and you can see it finally does start to gain strength. Now, I will say, look how far out we were. We are 220 hours out already. So especially when you're talking about a run like the 18Z GFS, this is when you need to be careful, about what you say online and what you believe. You need to take this all with a grain of salt, because the 18Z GFS is known for being a pretty crazy model run, spitting out one of the craziest, the more crazy model runs that we've seen. And so that's what we see on this run of the GFS. But just because of the strong signal that we've been getting from not only the 18Z but also all of the afternoon and morning runs, and even the overnight runs, the OOZ, all of these runs have been showing at least a developing system. This run of the GFS has the storm continuing to strengthen in the Southwest Atlantic, and it rapidly intensifies to a named storm here and moves up the east coast there. So this is extremely far out. Again, we're talking about almost 300 hours out. So do not tell your brother's cat's uncle's dog that we are going to get a landfalling hurricane on the New England coastline on August 17th. That is not going to happen. But what I can say is that there is a very strong signal that we will see this tropical wave persist into the Southwest Atlantic, where there is a environment that is favorable for further development and strengthening of this storm, which may bring it closer towards the land. That's something that we can say. So we're not going to go and jump to conclusions here and say that there's definitely going to be a hurricane or a named storm. We don't even know that yet. Things can downtrend. So we really need to take this all with a grain of salt and just be careful of what we say. But we look at now the European model. We look at a different model here. It still shows the same tropical wave, maintaining that strength, a little bit of a farther southern track here, so a little bit south of the Cabo Verde Islands. Remember, the GFS had the storm right about here, which is, again, I mean, this is a pretty significant difference when you're considering that, the storm could either be taken through the Caribbean or it could be taken into the Southwest Atlantic. So there's kind of two different tracks that are possible, and that's why we don't jump to conclusions, because we could have two whole different outcomes, and I'll show you why in a minute. But this storm continues to ride through the main development region, and really once it gets to the Lesser Antilles. It starts to strengthen, now getting to a 988 millibar low. This is already 264 hours out, so once again, take this all with a grain of salt. But after this, the European just spits out a pretty crazy and just bullish model run here, where we see the storm explode in development, and just the rest is, you know, I mean, whatever you want to call that. But basically what this is showing us is that the European has latched onto a significant signal for a possible developing system later into the week, and definitely into next week here. But what we can say from this is that, at least from the operational runs, that most of them do take this into the Southwest Atlantic. Now, a northern track would favor more of a threat to land here, but a southern track would definitely bring this storm through warmer waters and potentially, result in a stronger storm. That's what we're going to take away from this, but we're not going to be saying that, you know, there's going to be a major hurricane striking the East Coast in the next week or so. Alright, but we take a look now at the GFS ensemble. So this is all of the members that make up the ensemble here of the GFS, and they kind of get put into one plot, and you can see all of these kind of spaghetti looking lines. We like to call them spaghetti models. These are all the different tracks of low pressure systems that the ensembles are showing, and you can see the GFS has plenty. Again, bringing that northern track, most of them bring this north of the Lesser Antilles, but you can see very, very strong tracks. Almost every single member here has this getting into, you know, the sub 990 millibar kind of range there, and you're talking about potential Cat 1 status. Now, am I saying we are going to see a Category 1 hurricane? No, but I am saying that because we are seeing some of these stronger members become a little bit more, you know, organized and more widespread, that does mean that there is a bigger signal there for a possible stronger named storm. But a lot of these are fairly strong. I mean, you're talking about 979, 987. I mean, some of these definitely bring this a little bit closer to land than we would be comfortable with. And most of them are the strongest of tracks here. So again, there are a few members that are trying to bring this into a very strong state, so we will have to definitely keep our eyes on this, as this is a pretty significant signal from the GFS. Now, for the last part of the update, we look at the European model. Well, does the European agree? And it does. It actually does have many more tracks, a lot showing the storm going completely out to sea, with a much farther north option, but kind of like what we saw with today's runs, where we see a few of the members showing this kind of ride through the Lesser Antilles with that southern option. Many different outcomes are possible, and this is why we're not going to jump to conclusions, because you can see almost half of the members have this going out to sea, but then another half have this going into a very, very volatile environment for tropical development. So a lot of questions are still needed to be answered. All we have to guide us through this is going to be model trends and obviously the ensembles. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you all for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you're staying safe out there if you are getting impacted by severe weather. And yeah, that's going to be it. So thank you all for coming to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next video.